What shape is your bronze medal in? Has it tarnished at all?
Yeah, it's kind of dying. I'm gonna need to change it for sure.
Welcome to Social Kick. I'm Brian Lundquist. We got the full crew, bright and early. Dr. John Mullen, Luke Paddington on the East Coast with his McGill Redbird shirt. Go Redbirds. And joining us coming off a home Olympics, French Olympian Clement Secchi. What's going on, Clem? How are you, man?
I mean, all good, all good. Yeah, it's been a wild past weeks, but yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man. We got some wild past weeks to talk about. I'm excited to hear about it, hear your perspective on it. The French crowd was lit, but before we get there, if you listen to the show enough, you know that we'll prompt our audience for questions. If you want to submit questions in advance of our shows, hit us on Instagram at SocialKickSwim. We had a couple audience questions that I wanted to ask, and maybe this kicks the Paris conversation, but before we get to Paris, this one's from Robin Domingo, wants to know, what brand is your microwave?
What?
I saw that one. I have no clue. I'm not even sure. Maybe like Samsung, something like this.
All right, well, let's go with Giovanni, who wants to know, any advice to swim faster? How about just pick one?
I'd say mobility. Work on your mobility.
I like the mobility answer. And then how about from Swim Earth says, what's your favorite pool to train in?
Favorite pool to train in? Good question. I would say probably something outdoors for sure. So maybe Tenerife. Yeah, probably Tenerife. It's slightly salty, so it's always kind of warm. Outdoors, beautiful view, sunset time. It's very nice. Probably Tenerife.
I gotta make it to Tenerife. I'm always following triathletes who are going to Tenerife, and then of course we see all the viral reels of the endless pool at Tenerife. Yeah. So I feel like I gotta go check that out. All right, man. Last one from the audience. This one's from RaphaelBea.ga, who wants to know, what was your favorite race in Paris?
Definitely so to swim in, it was the heats of the relay.
Sure.
And then to watch, it was the two fly. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Two
men's
fly.
Yeah,
totally. So I got to Paris for the last 3 nights of swimming. So I missed Leon's two fly, and I wasn't there in person for that one. But obviously, what everybody was talking about beforehand was how crazy this French crowd was, how loud it was in La Défense. And I feel I needed to get there and hear it for myself, and 100%. It was loud. The French crowd, dude, I think it was the first session that I walked in the pool. It must have been, it was either the first session I got there or maybe it was night 2, but I remember walking into finals once, and it was your fan club holding up these giant heads of you, like singing and dancing outside of the pool. And I'm like, we joke a lot about tailgating for swim meets, and you swam at Mizzou, like nobody was tailgating for swim meets. Okay. Nobody was at Auburn. Nobody was, at any school in the US. And then like you go to the Olympics, they are tailgating for swimming, and it was your crowd with your giant heads going around everywhere, and I was like, oh, it's on.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, what was that moment like with when you were in the pool when Leon passed Milak to close and win that two fly? Like, it was especially like at 180 meters. I bet you and the team were like, holy.
So it was like at the throughout the race until the 150, probably it was like, okay, Milak is just God. He's just so good. He's like cruising the race. He's ahead. There's no way he's dying on the last 50. And then the underwater, you could see like Leon coming back like a lot, and you're like, no way, he's gonna do it, no way. And then as the meters go by, you're like, no way, it's happening. And then Milak is just dying kind of, and then Leon's like trying hard. You can see like he's like bumping his head and like trying hard, and it works out. And the last few meters is just wild, and the crowd is like, wow, what just happened? Wasn't it like the first loss of Milak since like 2017 probably, or 16 even, like juniors in the two fly? like I feel like he's never lost a race in like forever in the 2-5, even at any meet, like whatever meet. So yeah, that was pretty special.
I don't know, but whether he wins or he loses, he apparently doesn't care. So no,
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just making fun of the post-race reaction in the 100 fly. I would imagine even like, especially as a butterflyer too, like somebody who, swims the 100 fly at the elite level that you do, and like is a 2 flyer at times too. It's like being able to see somebody surge or really maybe hold it together more like that in the last 50. It's even more directly something where you're like, it's more relatable. You have more things to look for, and it's even more impressive to see that close happen because physiologically what that moment feels like and how hard it is. It's easy for everybody else to go 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 go. LA. But, like,
that's not how it works.
but you're like, it's not. That's really hard.
Yeah, this is no way. Usually everyone dies in the last like meters, especially at US trials. I think it was very obvious where like in the finals, if I remember well, everyone just died hard the last 25 meters, and that's just how it really like it usually happens. But I guess not for the Frenchmen.
Yeah, the energy there, even just watching it at home, especially that first night, it was like watching an NBA final where you like hear the crowd chanting and the noise. I've certainly never watched a swim meet where you hear the crowd and like can actually tell what they're saying, like what they're chanting and all that. So clearly tons of energy from the French. Excited for all their swimmers there. And overall, the French swimmers really performed well. I think overall, an amazing meet. And a lot of people were like, oh, the home Olympics, that's going to, that helps them out. But we've been talking with other people that there's also some nervousness that may come with that or more added pressure about that. How did you find that balance and how did the French team find that balance to have such a successful Olympics?
So I think it kind of started in training camp. So training camp was like really calm. Like we were in Vichy, so it was like just a kind of national training setting, whatever. And there was just us. It was just us at the pool, us where we ate. So we saw nobody. It was just the birds, the grass around us. It was like super soothing. So we came in like kind of like very like recharged and like fully ready, but not like within all the excitement of the Olympics and everything, just like kind of ready to go, training super well, like no stress. You could feel like everyone nobody was tense. So that was like the first, like, I guess, starting point. And then when we got there, for me, the crowd, I had to get used to it. Like, so first morning, I was swimming only on the 7th day. So it was like, I knew I was like going to wait and it was going to be long, but I had to stay in the meet, But I was like, okay, I gotta watch at least the first heats. And then there was my club teammate, Marie Wattel, who was swimming the first event. It was a 100 that's the first event that I saw. And I remember going out on deck in like the stands for the athletes. And when she came out, everybody was like chanting her name, like Marie, Marie. I was just like, what is going on? And then the speaker had like to wait. Like it just took so long. It was probably like 3 or 4 minutes before like she wasn't even like undressed and they like were ready to whistle because like the speaker was like, okay, like silence, like please like stop the noise, like. And I remember I was like holding tears. I was like crying a little bit watching this. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? So I was like, okay, I need to get used to it. So I went to as many sessions as possible afterwards without like getting too exhausted because like it's 3 hours session and like it's super intense, super music, visually and then emotionally, like you see your friends swimming or your teammates. And so, but still I wanted to experience it so that when I'm behind the blocks and the crowd is like super loud and everything, I'm not like crying or just like emotionally overwhelmed and just ready to race fast. So yeah, that's kind of how I handled things, just getting used to it, like getting after the 7th day, it was almost like, okay, now it's normal.
But then, Clem, you didn't experience it. You have a fantastic prelim swim. You get a second swim, you're in semis. You walk on, and there are 2 Frenchmen in the semi-final of Heat 1 and 100 fly. And talk to me about how you handle that, from the glasses you put on to how it lifted you or maybe affected your actual racing.
So So basically, for me, the second swim. So I really wanted to do a second swim. I knew I had a lot of pressure in the prelims because I knew like how I was gonna swim was gonna affect if I'm gonna do the relay and then if I'm getting a second swim. Because if I don't, like my meet could be over if I didn't swim well in the prelims. So that's where I had the most pressure.
Mhm.
But in the semifinal, really, it was just like I was seeded, I think 16th coming into the meet. So I was like, okay, I'm already in the semis now. I just try to grab some spots during the year, I guess. Yeah, try to get the to the final. And I knew it was going to take like 51.0 or 51.1, so I knew I could do it. I was lane 8. I knew I just enjoyed the moment. The glasses, actually, these are blue light glasses that are like, they light up. But on the video, you can see they were lighting up, and it looked way cool in my head. But whatever. I decided like 40 minutes before my race, but I was like, you know what? Usually I have these like water guns. I get out and I do like my walkout. It's like kind of magic trick, and I pull them out of my back. But here, because of the Olympics, I was like, water guns. Maybe I'm gonna get like DQ'd, or it's not a good idea with like the context, the geopolitical context. So I was like, okay, I gotta find something else. And so yeah, but I should have rehearsed a little bit more the workout. But yeah,
You could have
fun.
gone viral with like the shooter guy. Did you see the pictures of that guy?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I saw that picture. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, I mean, it was just really like taking in all the energy and no pressure because I had nothing to lose in the semifinal, and I knew I was also gonna do my race because the guy next to me was not gonna like go out fast. So I was just gonna need to swim my race, not go out too fast, and then try to come back as fast as possible. But it was for sure harder than the other races where I swam my best times, where I had just Maxi next to me or Nils Kostange next to me, and I was just like backpacking him on the first half and then just coming back. Here it was definitely harder on lane 8 to go a best time, especially in the semifinal. But yeah, I was happy with my swim for sure.
Did you hear the crowd coming home?
Yeah, no, for sure. I heard the crowd in the water, out the water, and it almost felt like you already won before the race. So it was just great, and like the public reaction, like after whatever like result really from the French at least, they were like all happy and celebrating it. So it was, I feel like it was like just a super like good atmosphere without like just bad pressure. You know, it was just good pressure but good intensity, and everyone was just cheering and ready to swim fast. I feel like some people it definitely affected them negatively, but for the French people, I think we swam really well.
Did Bob Bowman or any of the other coaches or, athletes like, Flo that's been there so many times say anything to kind of ever address the team about how to handle the situation or how to represent French at this home Olympics?
Like regarding the pressure, not really. I feel like it was just like you go ahead and then discover how it is and do whatever you like. I know like my roommate, for example, through the meet, he went to buy AirPods Maxes, like the AirPod Maxes, because he didn't want to hear the noise. It was like just too loud and too stressful. So he bought this and he was just blasting music in the earphones right before the race and took them off right before swimming. So everyone has their own way of coping with the atmosphere and pressure. So some was just like, you get out earphones, you don't look at the pool around you, just look at your lane and then swim and leave. Me, it was more just like, turn around, just love it. And then, Florent really, really liked it. And I think what he did also before the 50 freestyle was amazing and was also putting all his chances behind his back. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just find this so fascinating that, and a bit surprised because I think the U.S. team had a huge crowd at trials that I would say was almost exactly what the stadium was like in Paris. Same size crowd, same setup, so like probably the best trial run to have an experience like what you were going to have in the pool. And I mean, I guess I just would have expected that there was something to simulate that in advance. And I just find it so funny and talking to Bob and talking to you and like, that you guys were just sitting in Vichy, like listening to the birds. Like I'm just picturing like this pristine environment of, you know.
It was pristine. It was just so calm. We had one practice with a crowd that came, and it was like over 500 people, but that was just fun. We just suited up, and it was nice to see some people. But otherwise, like all the other days, it was just super calm. We just played like pétanque or ping pong, lots of ping pong, like, and just not too much.
That's paper time right there.
For sure.
Go ahead.
We asked Bob a similar question. John always talks about the Dunya Arena in Budapest just being the best arena to swim in. The Hungarians love their aquatic sports, water polo, swimming, and they're nuts. And it sounds like La Défense was as loud, if not more, crazy and funny. Leon was a superstar. Leon was a Michael Jordan, and he's a swimmer. It's not like he was more famous. What is it about the French people and the swimming? Was it just that French people love sports so much and they just carried it into the swimming? Or was it just like, or was it just that the home Olympics and they all stepped up because really good publicity? What made it so rabid, the fans?
Yeah, so I think there's many different factors. So first, like French swimming has like kind of like a great history with like the 4x1 relays, for example, in freestyle. We have Alain Bernard, who was Olympic champ. We have Florent, who was Olympic champ, Florent Manaudou. So they were always like a key figures in swimming, in French swimming, which really like, which the people and the crowd took over on. Like they really like loved them. And they had like, we always kind of had a great image, the swimmers. So it was really just like, it's been since, I guess, kind of London, or yeah, it was also Yannick Agnan, that there wasn't like a really big star swimmer coming out. So the French, of course, like jumped on this occasion to go behind Leon, and like especially that he's also winning a lot of medals, a lot of events. And the home Olympics really brought every French people watching sports. Like so many people just watch soccer in France, but during the Olympics, everyone found themselves just watching any sports. And swimming was the first week. And first week, there weren't that many, like, it was like swimming was the main attraction. So everybody watched that. There was like other sports going on, but during like prime time swimming, there wasn't like two big, really big events going at the same time. So everybody watched swimming really, and they saw Leon winning, and yeah, they loved him for sure.
So that kind of explains your 0.44 reaction time in your relay. You have Leon swimming in towards you, and you can't be that guy. Explain, talk about your relay.
So basically, we only did one practice of relays exchange in Vichy. I did one or two starts with Leon in Vichy, and I was like minus 0.1 every time. But with the other breaststroker, I was perfect, like 0.10 every time. So I was like, okay. And then comes to me, it's like we can't really practice that because he's swimming all the time. I'm not swimming at the same time, whatever. And in the morning, during the warm up of before the relay, I do one exchange with him, and I feel like that I steal it, and I'm like, oh God. And then I walk by out of the water, and then Bob Bowman stops me, and he's like, hey, careful on the takeover. And I'm like, fuck, he's so mean. And I was like, okay, I really gotta take it easy. So that's why I was like, yeah, I gotta do the complete opposite of what I've been trying to do for the last 3 times. But yeah, it's not like it's an NCAA relay where it's like a 4x50 yards and whatever. You just go after it. It's a small pool too, and like I don't know. Here it was like, okay, I take it, so whatever.
So what type of reaction would Bob have given you if you were like, Bob, I know Leon's been swimming a lot. It's like the second to last day here of the meet. I think I need to do 6 or 7 relay exchanges off of him. How's that sound?
Yeah. How do you like that? What do you mean? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, no, yeah. So didn't not much practice, so I didn't want to take much risk because he's swimming like super long strokes too. Like he's gliding so much and taking just so much water that the tempo. I had like a memory thing for my relay exchange for NCAA. For the 4x50 and the 4x1 medley, where like the tempo of my breaststroker at Mizu was just super fast. So I was like, okay, when he takes his head out of the water for the last breath, I'm going. And then here, I did it with them, and I was like, whoa, way too early. So yeah, afterwards, I was like, okay, I'm chilling now, and I'm taking it easy, yeah.
God damn it, Leon. It's all his fault. Just
It
came
would've
in
been
swimming too
amazing.
fast. See, the thing is, he was going too slow in practice. He needed him to be going faster in practice. Now we know. Now he's not a good practice trainer when it comes to relay starts. That's the weakness.
No, he's good. He's good. I just did twice, and I messed it up.
So where were you when you were watching a Flo try to finish at 100 free, which was heroic? And then and how was your reaction when you guys realized you are a bronze medalist?
Yeah, so it was a pretty wild race, honestly, because like from until the 300 meters, we're like, no way, like we're Olympic champion, what the fuck? And then Pan gets into the water, and we're like, okay, well, it's not going to happen. And then it's Armstrong, Hunter Armstrong also swims a huge race. So he comes back, and then yeah, we see like Florent tailing a lot on the last 25. But yeah, no, I mean that was just such a roller coaster ride, because yeah, you're like going up and down with every 100, and it was just like a beautiful race with like so many good performances in it. Just a really fast race. Like congrats to the Chinese guys and the Americans. It was just lots of fun to watch for sure. I was with Raphael, next to Raphael, watching the race. And yeah, I think I was more stressed than before my races for sure, because you can't control anything. So yeah.
But seriously, how nervous were you guys before Flo went in? I mean, when was the last time Flo did 100 free? When I saw him walk out, I was like, oh man, Flo back in the 100 free. And then it's like, oh God, they're in this race. This is on Flo. And obviously Flo, if any moment showed it was that 50 free, steps up to the moment and the environment, he really feeds off of that. But I was nervous. I was like, is he gonna tighten up twice as bad as Bernard did on the legendary relay? What's gonna happen?
No. Yeah. No. So Florent swam really well at trials this year. He only swam the heats. He swam 47.9, I think, or 48.0. So we were like, okay, he's got it in him. And then as he didn't do the heats, he was like kind of fresh. That was the game plan. It was like, okay, Florent, he does one race. He does the 100 free. He didn't do also the heats of the 4x1 free on the first day. So he only really swam 350s and then just the relay final. So we were like, okay, he's fresh. He can definitely swim like 47. And that should be enough if the other ones swim really fast. So yeah, we weren't expecting a 45 from the Chinese, but yeah.
Crazy. And so what's it been like since then? I mean, in the days afterwards, it's pure party and celebration and joy and happiness. Like it was, your whole career has come to a pinnacle at this point. Just describe how crazy party and how much fun, what an honor it was, since then.
Yeah, so the week after, it was just like busy all the time. It was so during the days we were doing like media things, or we were going out to see the fans, like getting like crowd bathers, just like it was just incredible. And then after, I was like going to events by like different companies, like doing like networking a lot, meeting a lot of new people. And then at night we would go out after. So it was very like a very intense week. The second week probably more intense than the first week, but it was lots of fun, and yeah, everyone was just super happy. And also, I watched like a sport a day, so it was really just like watching sports, yeah, partying a lot, going to events, and doing like media stuff. And it was nice. It was nonstop, but it was definitely a fun time for sure. And yeah, to try all these new things that I hadn't done before. And yeah, watching sports was also lots of fun for sure. I went to see skateboarding, I went to see volleyball, basketball, athletics. Yeah, so it was very nice.
I'm curious who some of the other French stars were in the Olympic Village, or if there's any others that you were able to meet or come across as part of this process. And I'll tell you, for example, like I got to see the men's road cycling, and then you had Manaudou and Christophe Laporte go silver bronze in that race, and then I watched the triathlon mixed team relay where the French team was favored to win, and then the Hayden Wilde from New Zealand sort of crashed out. I think it was no, it wasn't Leo Berger. I forget who led off, but like French team was supposed to win, and then they had this like heroic comeback to get fourth, which was amazing. But like triathlon, like French are really good at triathlon, and the crowd really showed out for that. So I'm just curious, like, who are some of the people that, like who are you starstruck by when you saw them?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure, but it was just like fun to see all these faces of these like people you usually see on TV, or on just social media. So yeah, it was kind of funny to take the elevator with them, just like really anyone, and see how they look in real life and see how the physiques are very different too, regarding their sports, like someone playing ping pong or someone playing handball. They'll be like very different in terms of size and just, muscles and everything. I just remember, I think in the village, I saw Nadal and Alcaraz eating together. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I saw Serena Williams too. She was eating like lunch at some point, like just like 3 chairs next to me. But I didn't want to really like go, like, I don't know, like annoy them or be like, oh, can I take a picture? Because many people were already doing that, and I don't know, it wouldn't really bring me anything to get a picture with them. But I'd just rather see them in their environments and natural humans. So it was kind of funny.
Yeah, so you see Alcaraz eating a sandwich, and you're like, oh, Alcaraz eats sandwiches. I might eat sandwiches too.
yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think it was the Spanish tennis players. They were like chugging olive oil, but I'm not sure. I think actually not. Because it's a thing, it's like a biohacking.
I've heard of it. Haven't tried it.
Well, you were going around with Leon, especially after the meet and celebrations. I guess what was the funniest reaction you saw of people meeting him, or fans with him? And is he the biggest athlete in France right now after these Olympics?
Yeah, he's definitely the biggest French athlete. I say, like, with Kylian Mbappé, the soccer player. It's like, Leon Marchand really hasn't made a mistake, or doesn't have any negative things around him, or like you can't really like criticize him. Like, he's just like a nice guy and he doesn't do anything wrong, and so everybody just loves him. And it was funny to see how crazy people get, when they see him, or even with Florent too, like they have to get a picture. They kind of shout, and like it's crazy the aura he has, and it must be also very different from like how he feels. Like, I don't know, like what you reflect and how others see you and how you see yourself. Like, the gap must be like very big here. But yeah, it's interesting for sure. It's interesting to see like fame on like a really world stage. But yeah, it's kind of also like, oh, there's so many downsides, like, oh yeah, he can't go to a restaurant. He can't even, like, at some point, I think he took the plane, and some people were like, oh, he doesn't care about the environment, where he doesn't take the train. And I was like, he can't take the train. Like there's no way he can take the train. So like there would be way too many people. Like, there's no way, So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Leon's now Taylor Swift level.
Yeah.
You just can't win. Yeah. You want to be available for everybody, but you got to do it responsibly. Hey, talk to me about taking your shirts off at Champions Park. Who took their shirt off first?
It was kind of my idea. I convinced. It was very easy to convince Florent. Florent was like, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, I imagine Flo's like, sure, I live with my shirt off. Why is this thing even on?
and then the other ones, I think Johan broke the first one, and then Maxime and Raphael, and then Leon was the last one. He was like, okay, guess I have to do it. You guys are all shirtless. And I had a magical idea too. It was, so we got like kind of like how do you say, makeup. There was like a makeup stand, whatever, at Champions Park where you could get like sparkles or whatever. And then I asked the woman if she has something like for the body, like a whatever, like a bronze spray. And she was like, oh yeah, I have this. No. So she gave us like bronze spray bottles and we were spraying our bodies with it. So yeah, it was kind of funny. It didn't show much on the pictures, on the video, but yeah, it was kind of hilarious. You know, at some point you just have to go all in.
Oh my god,
Guys, it's his Montreal roots. When I was swimming at McGill, we'd go clubbing in Montreal, and we took off our shirts in the clubs all the time. People didn't really like that very much, but we had a good time.
please keep the shirt on today.
Yeah, the point is just.
I'll do it today.
I mean, we're swimmers. We're the only ones really that can do this, so why not do it? You know,
Exactly.
different. So yeah.
I think what Luke's getting at is he wants to know, where does the shirt taking off idea come from, Clem? When did this start for you? Have you always done this?
McGill.
Yeah, but no, it was nice. It was fun. Good time. And Club France was also lots of fun. Club France was yeah, it was wild. It was inside and outside. Yeah, it was crazy to see the happiness in the people's eyes and just them cheering and celebrating us and us celebrating with them, like thanking them. Kind of, it's like it was really like a communion with the public, the people who cheer and support us and the athletes. Where usually I feel like at Olympic Games there's not much like the closest you get to the athlete is, I guess, in the pool or like on TV. Like here, it was really we're like next to us and next to them, and it's just great.
Clem, I want to get into your support. We talked about the fans outside before your 100 fly semi. We talked about the village. You wrote something on Instagram where you thanked all of the people who were in your journey, from your coaches to your friends to your family to your supporters. We just talked about Leon Marchand, and his nickname in ASU was the Baguette. So your journey has gone from baguettes to Montreal bagels to Missouri barbecue. You know, talking to me about your family, your village that got you to where you are, and and key people and moments that helped shape you to be now an Olympic bronze medalist.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I've seen many different people throughout my career. It started with Lionel in Aix-en-Provence, really, who built me. He built the base and like the mindset, really, how to approach swimming, how to work hard, how to be competitive, and like kind of like the American mindset of like racing to loving to race, hating to lose, and everything. Then I always wanted to go abroad. I didn't go to the States right away because I didn't have like scholarships at all in the States at 18 years old. So I was like the universities were barely like replying me in the US, and yeah, I didn't have scholarships. So in the end, I contacted McGill, and Peter replied me. The coach at McGill, Peter Carpenter, replied me immediately, and I had a friend who was already there. So I was like, okay, let's go there. And I really discovered there what a team is. Like, it's very different from the club team atmosphere in France, where lots of people, young club swimmers, are just going to swim because their parents want them to swim, or because they're there and like they don't really know why they're here. At McGill, it was you do school, and if you want to do swimming, it's because you like to do swimming and you love to do swimming. Like, it doesn't really bring you any like I don't know, like there's not big scholarships at McGill for swimming, or like it's really like an extra work. So it was really nice to discover how people were loving this sport and training hard and supporting each other's at McGill and just racing all the time. We did a lot of like race-based training at McGill, which I didn't do before, and I really loved that. And through the years I could see myself like improving, and it was lots of fun for sure. But I still wanted to get the NCAA experience, so I did my master's at Missouri. I kind of like did the process a little late, decided a little late to go to the States. But yeah, I kind of like did like Peter. I didn't visit the school before. I didn't visit McGill. I didn't visit Mizzou. I just had a Zoom call with the coaches. I looked at the teams, the improvement rates. Just like, I didn't want to be like also a small fish in the ocean. That's why I went to Mizzou, because it was a good team with good people, and especially lots of improvements, not just star players that were already good before going to the university and that can be coached by really anyone and can be really good. So I decided to go there, and yeah, I had the American experience, and then I came back to Marseille last September because every summer I usually go back to Marseille and do the club meets and the French team meets. International competitions, but yeah, it all really played out really well. Every decision I took, there were some for sure tough years. Last year was tough. After Mizzou, I didn't improve by 100th. I swam the same times in the 100 fly from like January 7th till like August 20th. And yeah, COVID year was also tough when I came back to Marseille and just trained and did school online in Marseille, but that was very different because it's a different environment. Nobody goes to school. So it's just after a long day of practice, you do school, whereas at university, everyone is in the same basket. So it's easier for sure. So yeah, lots of, for sure, like challenges, downtimes, good times. But yeah, I'm very happy to have followed this path and where it took me and the people, the coaches. Yeah, I couldn't be more thankful to have had all the people that I trained with and have helped me get there.
You talked about how you've been improving. First of all, lovely journey, and yeah, really interesting how what you look for in your choice of schools and places to swim. So that was very good advice for those who are listening. Of course, I followed your journey, being a fellow McGill alumni, and one thing I noticed that you always kept improving. You know, you came to McGill as this swimmer, and you left it as, you know, a 7-time U Sports champion and U Sports swimmer of the year. You won SECs, then you won French nationals. You know, you just missed making worlds last year, and then you keep dropping times. You're now a 51 100 flyer, and you don't stop improving. Talk to me about that journey and that drive to excel and to get faster and faster. What motivates you? Because a lot of people don't see such going from a 52 a couple of years ago to now 51-1, knocking the door of 50 points, knocking the door of a final. That's a heck of a journey from a Canadian. You know?
Yeah. So it's always been
Canadian swimmer.
Canadian French swimmer. Yeah. No, it's always been a search for how to get better in and out of the pool. And then I kind of like never stopped exploring the sport and like outside of the sport, just like, yeah, trying to be a better athlete every single day. And that's how like that's the perspective that took me further. And then also showing up just every single day like this. There's not really like many practices. I don't think maybe I can count them on my hand where I was like, okay, this time I didn't give my all, or that wasn't a good practice, that didn't bring me anything, you know. So it's really like whatever happens during the day, whatever my motivation is, just be always disciplined. Like in other areas, in school sometimes or in work, I'm not as disciplined for sure, but for swimming, there's not a one time where I'm like, okay, I'm not giving 100% today. So that's definitely what took me further, just working hard all the time and then working smart, you know, like I found out sometimes also working hard could be like a hurdle. I mean, like if you're just too tired, I feel like at Mizzou, my year at Mizzou, I worked so hard that I just couldn't like taper. Whenever I tapered, I didn't drop time because my body was just too exhausted. But at some point, with like patience, the next year, this year, it really showed up and really paid off. But yeah, you have to like keep the balance between also working hard and working smart. Some people just work hard or just work hard in one area, you know, just in the pool, but they don't care about mobility, they don't care about nutrition, they don't care about sleep. But really you have to, look at the like mind map, you know, and look at every piece of the puzzle and try to piece them in. And yeah, that's been my approach to swimming, really like look at everything. I have like a journal, a time frame where I know like why I'm doing it, what what I want, what are my goals, how I'm going to get there, what are my weaknesses, what are my strengths, all the different technical points, or like, how do you say, like words I have on swimming that are noted that I've learned through the years. So really it's just like, yeah, trying to figure out the sport and swimming as much as I can and how my body works too and how to make it perform the best.
Clem, I wanted to ask you about with a journey like that and landing in a place of consistency where you're approaching your career with such professionalism like that. I mean, um, it's not always linear. And Luke described your progress as like this straight line path, and but I know that like realistically, it's not often that way. I'm curious if there's been a moment in your career where there was something that didn't go right and it changed you going forward for the better. Was there ever a moment where you failed, where something didn't go well, and then you had to rethink and go, okay, I need to do things differently now? Have you had that?
So there's one moment in my career where I think it really like changed my perspective on things. So I came from Aix-en-Provence, small club, not many swimmers, not much talent really. Like you work the hardest, you're the best. Then I went to McGill. I did my first year there, my second year too, and it's the same. Like you can't recruit the best like age group swimmers because there's only a 25-meter pool. It's Canadian Youth Sports League, so like all the future Olympic champions won't go there because they're already super good young, so they won't go there. So it's almost the same where everyone has like this equal level of talent, where the people that work the hardest or put in place the most things around that are the best. And then I came to Marseille in 2021 during COVID year. And then I worked really hard. I worked my ass off during the entire year. I was beating like most of the people in practice all the time. And then came the meets and they destroyed me, all of them. So all the people that were like my rivals or like swimming the same events, especially Mehdi Metela, who was injured all year round. He came back not even a month before trials and then swam national record. He was 50.7, went to the Olympics and just like, I was swimming 53.1 at that time. And I was like, oof, okay, so there's a variable, there's a thing I didn't know about before. It was just how important talent is in swimming, you know, and how like there's just like people that are like God gifted and they could do everything wrong, not think about anything or how they swim, but it just happens naturally and they're just really good, gifted physically, whatever, be it in the gym or in the pool or both. And you can't do much about it. So that was like a hard time. I was like, okay, do I want to keep on swimming and like try 10 times harder than the other ones and get like results that are 10 times less good? So that definitely like changed the thing in my mind where I was like, okay, so first is I need to do way more than the others to get better. So I need to find more ways to get better and more areas. So that led me to be even more curious, even like try out new things, try to understand more my body and think even more about the process. And then just like being in a place where I'm just following my path and wherever I go, wherever I end up, if I know that I like went to my full potential, at least like 99%, I'll be happy, be it bronze medalist or even if it was just going to the games, I wouldn't have dreamed of that before. So yeah, I was just following my path and then just trying to improve on myself all the time, which kind of led me to improve and eventually catch up these some of these guys.
Yeah, totally. Well, and that's cool that you experienced that at a time in your career where you're still earlier or were earlier in the career, so you could adapt and channel that kind of observation the way that you have as motivation to, okay, like talent exists. Maybe there are people that have more talent than I do, but that means that like what works for them might not work for me. I need to work differently. I had the exact same experience. I was just sitting here like we have a little group chat, and I was telling these guys I have the same experience because they've heard me say it before with, similarly with a guy Colin Jones, who I felt like was just so talented in the way that he worked and approached swimming was different than what I needed to do, and that was a tough realization for me, but it came for me at the end of my career where I was like, I don't know what else to do because there's people out here who can do, you know, like differently, and they show up and they swim way faster than I can, and that's it. So, but you've gotten that message, you know, early, and here you are, a 51-100 flyer and Olympian. So I love that.
Yeah. And I think another realization was probably this year. It was like at the very best, just like have like a belief in themselves that is just astounding, like crazy. They just think they can do it. Like they don't even like think how they can do it or why they can do it or if they have the like capacities or physical like possibility, but they just believe in it so strongly that it kind of like happen, you know, like the process and like the body just adapts and it happens, you know. And they aim super high too. Like they're just like dreaming big, thinking they're way bigger than they are, and it works, you know. They grow because of that.
Yeah, and I should add that like so in the moment it can come across like, oh, they don't work as hard, or maybe they're more talented, or because they're not doing the same routine that you're doing that, you know, like is right for you to do. But exactly the point that you just made is what, like, in time I realized was, oh shoot, like the skill set that these people have to perform in the moment, to have that like mental strength, that killer instinct, those are really important skills to perform at a high level. And, you know, so I have to admire that. But yeah,
for sure.
Pretty cool. Things that you can learn, you know, that's what's so cool about watching Serena Williams eat a sandwich, or, you know, watching these people perform in the way they do. You're like, well, this is what it takes to achieve at a high level. Let me just pick up all the things that everybody does really well.
Yeah.
Speaking of what you do really well, John had some questions about your technique.
Yeah, definitely. With, like you mentioned, the mind map and all the areas to improve when you're kind of looking at the big scheme of things. In swimming, biomechanics or technique is probably one of the biggest elements to work on in the pool. So I'm just curious, kind of what you're working on to see yourself to continue to improve on that realm.
Yeah. So from now on, my two main focuses are mobility for sure. Shoulder mobility, upper body mobility, thoracic, shoulders, ankles. Even though my ankle mobility is really good, it's mostly focused on upper body mobility, I'd say. And then calisthenics. I know you guys have probably seen Clement McEvoy, all the stuff he does. Well, we do it also in Marseille since September, and there's so many like, I guess, poses I don't have right now in calisthenics that I can't hold because I'm not strong enough, or I don't have like the nervous system to activate all the muscles at the same time and fire it up enough, that I'm like looking forward to achieving and getting. So it's mostly like out of the water stuff that after will translate in the water to just getting stronger and like higher on the water and more like mobile, so spend less energy and have the just go further without spending as much energy. I saw that, I learned that a lot this year, that being efficient and not like just trying hard all the time, like trying hard at the right timing with the movements, being relaxed enough, like really taking your time in the water, and not just trying hard every kick, every just lap, every stroke. That's really what changed in my like race strategy in Harnfly and how I swim, and this is why now I was able to come back this year every time like 27 lows almost, whereas before my best comeback was probably 28 high. And like physiologically, like I don't think like things changed too much. Like I trained hard for sure, but I'm at a level where like physiologically I can't improve much in terms of like a VO2 max or like lactate endurance or like things like this, you know, aerobic capacity. These things are like kind of like maxed out, but it was more like finding the efficiency on the first way, spending like as little as energy, like finding the balance between, okay, I'm losing 2/10, but on the way back I'm gaining like a second, or I'm getting 2/10 faster, but then after, I'm dying on the way back, and really finding like, okay, how much energy into each stroke I need to put, like how I need to swim it, the tempo, the strength. So it's just figuring out even more these parts, and then every like the dive, every once in a while you find like a word or a tip that helps it a little better. Same for the underwater. I was watching lots of videos of Leon this year, and it kind of really helped me in terms of like the position in the underwaters and how I'm kicking too. It's different than how I'm kicking before. Like I'm kicking with much less strength, but I'm going as fast. So that means I'm keeping energy, and then that will help me throughout the race. So it's just like finding things like this in the water in terms of more like efficiency than just like working harder. And then out of the water is more, getting more strength, upper body strength, mobility, and
All right, two short follow-ups on some of your dry land and the calisthenics that you're doing. So Cam McEvoy doing a lot of body weight strength training. Luke and Brian, when they were at my gym, we were trying a few of them. In your opinion, what's the hardest exercise of those?
So right now, since September, we've been trying to have the front lever. So it's like, you like this, you hold the bar and you kind of like push down, like kind of like the fly movement, really. You push downwards and you try to hold the plank horizontally, and this is just so hard. And like I started with like both knees against me and like very tight, and then just holding this is just super hard. And then getting further away from the bar, like trying to push hard in the bar is really hard. And then you start having like one leg that is straight and not bent, and then you adapt, you like stretch your legs apart, and then you build up into the position. But it's been like really since September, I haven't missed a week where I haven't trained like calisthenics and this, like the different variations to get to front lever, and I don't have it. Like I still don't have it. And like I try hard, and it gives a lot of like soreness. So that can be really hard to swim at the beginning. At the beginning, you couldn't feel anything in the water because of this, because your lats, you really uses your lats, triceps, and just pushing down, and your back. So that's also, you have to find a balance between, okay, I can't train anymore well in the water because I'm so sore from the gym. So now I'm kind of adapting, and it doesn't give me as much soreness, but I definitely can improve a lot. And you see also on Instagram and social media, it's super easy to learn from the best in, there's a guy who's just crazy good in every single area of anything, so you follow a guy in calisthenics who's just the best in the world, and he has so many tips you can learn from, and you see that you are also very far from where he's at, so there's so much room for improvement, I think.
Yeah, the front lever is a killer, and you may have just answered it here, but what body weight strength training do you think does translate most to butterfly?
Yeah, so I'd say front lever is a good one for sure. We're gonna try to include also the plank, where you're lying down on your front with your arms straight, and you go as further away in front, and then you try to get your legs up. So like a plank, but just arms straight. But this one also, like, it depends on the person, because like not everyone can do this. Like Florent, there's no way he can do this. He's like super heavy, super tall, so that makes it much harder for him. And also like it's very hard on the shoulders. Like for me, I'm knocking on wood, but I've never been really injured. So any exercise, I can kind of try it, and it won't affect me after in the water. It's not like, okay, I do like 2 sets of front lever and then I can't swim for a week because my shoulders hurt, So that's a good thing.
I feel like the pommel horses, those guys got to be really good at this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. But that's like one more step. Yeah, like holding like kind of like the core, legs up on the pommel and doing circles. Yeah, that's so basically my strength coach. He was a gymnast when he was young, like a really national level at like a gymnast until like maybe 16. So he loves also this kind of stuff, and he believes in this stuff. So if we're open to try it, we can try it. But yeah, there's definitely lots of things from gymnastics that we can learn from. I mean, calisthenics is kind of gymnastics, but we also do like lots of how do you say, balance stuff, like but using force too, like push-ups in a poirier. How do you say that? Handstand push-ups. Handstand push-ups.
Oh yeah.
Like I couldn't do a handstand in September, really hold it at all, and now I can do handstand push-ups. So that's also like a thing, you know, where I can improve more.
Wow. That's the kind of thing that makes you want to take your shirt off at Champions Park.
A couple of years ago, I attended a McGill practice when you were training Clem, and you guys were doing pace 50s. And one thing I remember is I hardly saw you swim because you spent most of your time underwater. So the guys were doing their freestyle, and you were just, you know, popping up 15 meters every time underwaters on your pace 50 short course meters. So you've been charging underwaters then you went to Mizzou and the NCAA system, obviously charging even more underwaters. And we've talked about Leon's underwater against Milak. We've talked about how you've adapted your underwater kick to be not, you know, as fast, but not as powerful. We've talked about mobility. What's that one tip you can give an athlete now that you've learned and to improve your underwater most? Is it the strength to power ratio? Is it the mobility? What do you think is that one thing that one should work on that you've learned from the best and you've practiced and seen improvements?
Yeah, so there's a few points. First, like most important point is ankle mobility for sure. This is where like the kick comes from. All the, like if you can't apply the force in the water or like catch the water with your ankles and feet, like you can't go anywhere. Like you can be super strong, but it won't work. And then the second thing would be the amplitude. Like I feel like when you're young and you're a kid, everyone says like, oh yeah, big amplitude, take big kicks and everything, but the more I watch videos of and I do myself, it's like the less amplitude you need, and it really like the amplitude is within the ankles, but there's not much up and down. If you look at Leon compared to like Michael Andrew, for example, Michael Andrew sometimes like his kick back up is straight, and that's just like resistance, you know, like that's just like lots of resistance. Whereas if you're always like kind of narrow, there's not much resistance, and then the position of the back too. Sometimes people like they kick and their back, you know, is like round like this going to the back, and they're going up like this. So that's like lots of resistance. If you look at Leon, he's like a shark underwater, and he's like super straight all the time. And to like sometimes you feel like you're straight, and then you take a video of yourself underwater, and you're bent like this, and then you're going up like pushing against the water. So really like I feel like position of the upper back, narrow kick, and lots of mobility in the ankles is for me a game changer for kick outs. And then also like staying underwater, like under the surface, kind of deep, quite some time, and then going back up, like quite straight, more straightforward. Like before, I was going back up way too like smoothly, I guess, like gradually. And in the end, I would stay at, you know, the points under the water where there's more resistance. I would stay longer in there instead of under, because I was going up more gradually, and then you're losing time, you know. So yeah, that's the 4 points, I guess.
Cool.
Tips from a pro. It's a rarity. Luke's asking for all of this advice, and he's never going to use it.
Never.
Such a shame.
Grab start till I die.
When was the last time you swam, Luke?
Yes.
Yes, what?
It's a practice of avoidance. He's going to keep blaming it on pool availability. He doesn't have these outdoor pools like Clem's got. Man, what a life. All right, Clem, we got some rapid fire questions, and we'll let you go.
Yeah.
What's the hardest race in swimming?
To fly.
Olympic gold or world record?
Olympic gold.
Do you pee in the pool?
Yes.
What are you listening to, watching, or reading right now?
Music. Lots of music. Listening to a lot of music.
Who's number one on your Spotify Wrapped?
David Guetta, probably.
Oh, all right. What's the hardest set you've ever done?
Hardest set I've ever done? Probably 8 150s fly so it was 16 150s, 1 fly, 1 freestyle, short rest, so like maybe 20 seconds rest between the fly and the freestyle, and every 150 fly is all out. And that was awful. I was crying in my goggles, but it was cool here. It was nice though. It was one of my best sets for sure in like endurance fly kind of. I was sitting at the minutes mark, like pushing in the 150s. I was swimming like 133, which was really good at that time because I was only 201, I think. So yeah.
That would make me cry in my goggles too. Okay, speaking of that, would you have swum in the Seine?
Yeah.
No problem.
Sure. No problem. Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
All right. What kind
I
of
feel like
shape
for
is
the
your...
athletes, it's no big deal. It's only for the media.
I don't know. I feel like there were a couple of people that got E. coli, right? What shape is your bronze medal in? Has it tarnished at all?
Yeah, it's kind of dying. I'm gonna need to change it for sure.
Are you getting a replacement?
I think so. I need to shoot a message, but I think so. Yeah, I'm really hoping they leave us the medal and they send us another one because it's really like the medal they gave us, so it's kind of like sentimental value, even though it's not in good shape. It's still beautiful and it's still yeah.
They just don't want you to sell it. That's probably why. How many chocolate muffins did you eat?
0.
No.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big muffin guy. I tried the cookies, but it was kind of like too sweet. Yeah.
What's the image that you will remember the most when you think back on the Paris Olympics?
I mean, definitely the pool. Just like being on deck in the relay after the relay, and then being my first time in the stands watching Marie. I have a nice image, and even in the pool. Just so many images in the pool watching, or before my walking out or after my race. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, what a cool moment. All right, man. We got to ask every guest, how often do you do social kick?
We do it sometimes, quite often, honestly, in Marseille. We do it sometimes. Or if it's like slow kick in warm up or recovery, it becomes social kick, you know.
Hell yeah. I love it. Hey, man, super fun to hang out with you. Thanks for spending some time with us, and thanks for sharing an experience with us that I'm sure was once in a lifetime. So, we look forward to watching you as you continue on, and you're welcome back here anytime, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was nice to chat with you guys and hopefully share some insightful information for all the swimmers watching and coaches.
Oh, for sure. We're going to get so many videos and mentions of people doing those front levers now. So you just wait. Cool, man. All right. He's at Clem_Secchi on Instagram. Give him a follow. That's it for this episode of Social Kick. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're enjoying Social Kick, tell your friends about it. And be sure to tell us what you liked by leaving a comment and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Social Kick, and you can find all of our content on our website at thesocialkick.com.